And again, she has moved and listened on everything except for one issue. And I think it just shows.
What's that issue, Miracle?
You already know what that issue
For those that don't.
Yes.
Okay, so we can move on to that conversation. I do think that it shows that she has been responsive to everything except the genocide in Gaza, the war between Israel and Hamas, geopolitical issues, whatever you want to call it, because, the Cato Institute came out earlier in the week and they said that basically over 60% of Americans want what's going on. Not only a ceasefire, but an arms embargo.
Right. Yeah.
Right. Which it was even further than a ceasefire. And then went and looked at Wisconsin, Pennsylvania, and Michigan, and was saying, like, in some places, like up to like in Pennsylvania, I think it was 93% of Democrats were like, we're over this. Yeah. Right. And then higher or 93 was one of those two of independents. And so what I would have liked, because I don't think she's going to, you don't have to switch sides, right? To be more sympathetic and to sit there, say policy changes can happen and safety can happen, right? I think had she said, you know what, I will always, stand and defend Israel. But what has happened since October 7th has been a violation of my red line. I believe that in order to keep Israel safe, we have to have a ceasefire. We have to have an arms embargo. We have to find a way for the killing to stop. This violence must end. And what just happened in the West Bank with, I don't know how to say her name correctly.
Yes, with, an American citizen
being
was killed in the West Bank, right.
Shows there's way too much bloodshed. And as president, I am going to do A, B, and C to get this to stop, to get the hostages home, to find a way for, Israelis and Palestinians alike. That could have been a bringing, even though it's not as far and quote unquote radical as I would have wanted to hear. I think that is something she could have done to pivot away from Biden, to show that she understands what's going on. You have I think it was almost 1 million Israelis.
It was over 750,000 Israelis protesting Netanyahu.
Almost 1 million.
Protest, but they were saying that would be the equivalent if 24 million Americans would show up to one protest. That in terms of the percentage of people in Israel that were there to say they disagree with Netanyahu and wanting a return of hostages, which Netanyahu's preventing. So she could have maybe more clearly defined that outside of it.
I think when she was blaming Trump for the issues that was happening, there was a report last week that said Trump,
around Afghanistan,
but there was a report last week that said Trump called Netanyahu and said, please do not accept a ceasefire deal until I become president, right? Because it's just better for me. We even know in Michigan, the GOP is running ads targeted at Muslim voters, saying that all Kamala cares about is Israel, but it's running as a pro-Israeli ad. So we know the GOP is.
I mean, Trump said she hates Israelis and she hates Arabs, which is kind of weird. But he said that. But again, I think.
So my thing is if sometimes you got to play offense and defense.
Right.
If you know this is your Achilles heel, this is the thing that could take you down.
Yes.
You gotta come out on the offense a little bit. And I think that this was a missed opportunity. Right. And I hope that she changes course correctly, because I think that the way she came at Trump over the criminal justice thing shows that she's able to amend her language. Yes. The way she changed the language about the sexual assault and just made it softer where you felt like you were included. It shows that she can change her language and is listening. But I do think that whether or not Biden likes her or not, whether or not, all this other stuff's happening.
I mean, they were hugged up in Pittsburgh. I don't know.
I do think that you have to play the game. If you're playing to win the presidency, you got to clear the board. And my thing is, listen, Biden, he said earlier, Biden said he was going to forgive all the student loan debt, and he did.
That's true. Right? Yeah, and he did. Yeah.
And so when you're running to win, what's popular, you lean into it, and then what happens on November 6th, who knows?